Hi, welcome back to Bluebean's Not So Daily Exposing My Classmates. Natalie's here, and today we're going to talk about a guy. We'll call him L. I didn't even have much to say about him at first. The only real connection I had was that I got along with his little sister. That was it. Back then I was in 8th grade, and I barely interacted with the 9th graders. I knew most of them by name, but not personally. Me and a friend Suzy were in the same class, and we spent almost every break together. My middle school had a gigantic playground, which made it hard to find anyone unless you were looking for them on purpose. So when I started noticing that I kept seeing Al everywhere, it was weird. At first it wasn't alarming, just one of those "oh, there he is again" moments. But as the months went on, it got worse. I'd see him near my classroom, in random hallways, by the lockers, literally everywhere. It was like he had a map of my schedule. One day, Suzy joked that he was following me. I laughed it off because who even thinks about that at that age, right? But then it actually started happening. He would walk behind me on the way to class. Whenever I used the stairs, I'd see him a few steps below me. Even if Suzy and I changed staircases out of nowhere, he'd still somehow show up behind us. That's when it stopped being funny. He got super creepy. I felt uncomfortable all the time. Maybe he liked me, I don't know, but the way he showed it was not normal. Sometimes he'd randomly yell behind us or suddenly rush toward us for a couple seconds like he wanted to say something, but then backed out. Like, if you have something to tell me, just say it. Don't follow me around the school like a ghost. Thankfully, it stopped before the end of the school year, but even now, whenever I see him in the street, I give him a death stare. My body remembers the fear before my brain does anyway. That's all from me. Remember to stay safe out there, guys.
Hello, call me Nugget. Today I want to share a story about a girl from my old class. I'll call her Amanda. When I first started middle school, I was the new girl. And honestly, it felt like I was invisible. I didn't know anyone. And most people didn't make much effort to talk to me. A few weeks later, another new girl joined the class, and suddenly everyone was crowding around her, complimenting her, acting like she was the most fascinating person in the world. I remember thinking, wow, must be nice. I figured I just wasn't interesting or pretty enough for people to notice, but I tried not to let it bother me too much. Then there was Amanda. At first, I didn't think anything of her, just another classmate. But she seemed to take some kind of issue with me. Maybe she thought it was weird that I spent most of my time alone, or maybe she just liked picking targets. She would make these rude comments under her breath, sometimes cursing at me for no reason. A small group of kids who hung around her would join in, saying I belonged in the special classes. Eventually, I got tired of staying quiet. One day, after yet another insult, I snapped right back at Amanda and roasted her so hard that the whole class went silent. I didn't plan it, it just came out, but wow. It felt good to finally stand up for myself. Amanda had her own issues, though. She once got suspended for yelling and cursing at our teacher in front of the entire class. After that, a lot of people started distancing themselves from her. By the time she left the school, pretty much everyone had hated her. She's not at the school anymore. And honestly, I'm glad.
Hello there, blue stars. I've been reading a few comments recently and realized that many people were asking about my old friends, specifically Laura and Moon. I am still friends with them, and I do include them in videos. It's just they've requested I gave them a redesign, so I thought giving them a new name, Carly and Benjamin, would be good too. But unfortunately, some people didn't realize that they represented Laura and Moon, so I'll be keeping their new designs but changing their names back. Maybe they're more recognizable like this. Hope it helps. So I'ma tell you guys some school stories. So one time during tuition time, my tutor, Ms. Machise, was talking about LGBT as it was Pride Month at the time, and then Austin decides to start a little controversy. He says,
"Why do we have to learn about it? We've literally learnt about it every single year."
Austin, remember this is PSHE, so you should think before you say, because you don't know if you could be offending anybody.
Well, you still didn't answer my question.
Then Lucy said,
It's to make sure that every student feels included, as I'm sure that in every school, there are students who are LGBTQ+.
To everyone in the class, Put your hand up if you're part of the LGBT community.
Nobody put their hand up.
See? Nobody in here is part of it, so what's the point?
I mean, to prevent bullying and to prepare us for when we're older in case there's some people who don't know that's a thing.
We've been learning about it since year 7. Of course everyone would already know, so why not it end there?
Because it's part of the law?
Well, I don't care about the law.
Because Charlie and some other students were debating about it for so long. Tuition time ended and it was break time. After that, we had biology. And I unfortunately sat between Austin and Tyler. The only good thing I liked about it was when Austin paid me for the simplest things. Other than that, I would rather sit with someone else. By the way, all of this biology scenarios didn't happen all in one day. It happened in different days, but it was in the same room. Austin turned to me and asked,
Hey, so how does it feel to be black?
but I just flipped his words because that question was random. I replied, how does it feel to be mixed race?
Well, I like it because I get the perspectives of 2 colors and I can. Never mind, okay, I was just kidding. Will you answer my question though?
No.
Why not?
Maybe because you asked the weirdest questions known to mankind?
What do you mean?
You literally started a whole debate during tuition time, and the other tuition you randomly began talking about how people would react if male POCs entered a store compared to a white male entering a store.
Oh yeah, I did. That was just to skip the time because class was getting boring and we all low-key wanted to leave. Like, don't you think tuition time is such a useless period? We don't even learn anything important, bro. You can literally just live without it. And about the LGBT thing, I'm not against it.
Does that mean that you'd still like Tyler if he was into Jews? Austin immediately pretended that he was holding a pew-pew and aimed it at Tyler's head.
I'm just kidding. I'd still like him.
Aw, how sweet.
Wait, what? Yuck.
Another biology lesson. I heard their conversation because, of course, I sit between them. Tyler and Austin were saying,
Hey, Bluebean. Should I goon to Austin tonight? Goon, goon, goon. But bro, we goon together. But don't you goon to your girlfriend Alexa? Oh wait, she's too big that there's nothing to goon to. Shut up, bro. Alexa is fit. She looks like she weighs more than the 3 of us combined. She's built like King Kong. She probably even weighs more than Henry.
Oi, you man, which one of you waste men are chatting about me?
Shut up, Henry. Nobody's talking to you. Tyler, Alexa is not fit. She's bigger than all of us. No, she's not. And plus, you dated her in year 7, so you can't be talking. We were young. That doesn't count. And if she isn't overweight, what is she? Normal. If Alexa's normal, then what's Bluebean?
what?
In fact, what's the entire class? Underweight. Everyone in here is just underweight. So we're all just thin and Alexa's the only normal one. Yes. Bluebean, answer me honestly. Is Alexa fit? See, I told you, she's not. She didn't say anything though. That doesn't count.
Another time, Tyler and Matthew were throwing stationery to each other for no reason. Not little lids, I mean full-on glue sticks, multiple pens, and these big flipping scrunched up papers, they were flying past my head at the speed of underground trains. I was unlucky because Matthew decided to throw his glue stick to Tyler's head instead. It went over my shoulder by a few millimeters. I felt it brush past me. I collected it after. Austin and Tyler thought it hit me, so Tyler told Matthew that the glue stick hit me and Austin was asking if I was all right. I quickly threw the glue stick back and it hit Matthew's chair. Matthew turned around and Tyler said I threw it. Matthew didn't believe him, nor did the teacher, so Tyler got a warning. I giggled. Because according to what Mr. Williams, my biology teacher, said, I am such a good student that he believes that I'd never mess around. So much teachers have said that about me that if they ever see me do something wrong, they assume it's an accident or go on my side. One time, I went to buy a whole load of sweets before school, but because I didn't keep track of time, I realized I was an entire hour late. But I didn't want to sweat nor drop my sweets, so I got on a nearby bus. This happened twice, so I missed 2 of Mr. Williams' biology lesson. When Mr. Williams saw me in school, he assumed I was stuck in traffic or had an appointment, so then he said, you missed a few lessons, but it's okay. Don't worry. I'll give you a sheet next time you come. Then he walked off. That was a close one.
Hey guys, so I'll tell you a little something that happened in my English grammar class. So yesterday in English, we were doing the starter. Right, and Theo just blurt out the answer. I didn't want to cheat. So I'm sitting there actually trying to think it through. And then Timothy just snatches my whiteboard and pen. scribbles the answer down for me, and holds the board up like he's presenting a masterpiece. The teacher's like, "Well done." And one of Timothy's mates goes,
Bro, let her figure it out herself.
Timothy just grins and goes, "Game's game." Later on he wants to borrow my pen, and he grabs my book trying to look at the answers. Then the day after that, he was actually being nice, giving me answers, asking how I was, just chatting. And then he hits me with, "How do you keep getting away with sleeping and skipping work?" I told him I didn't know, and he just nods and says that he respects the hustle.
Hey guys, I'm Matt, and today I want to tell you the story of how I finally walked away from a friend group that was honestly kinda toxic and a little abusive. For context, this all happened in Sweden.
Is it true that you guys get paid to go to school?
It all started back in 3rd grade when I was around 9 or 10 years old. That was the year 2 new classmates joined our class, Taylor and Alex. They quickly became friends with Addison and 3 other kids. At the time, I was already friends with Olivia, who, fun fact, is now my absolute best friend. Still, I began hanging out with Taylor, Alex, and Addison during breaks. By the time we moved into 4th grade, we had formed a solid little group of about 7 people. I ended up being in the same group as Taylor, Alex, and Addison when our grade was split into 3 smaller groups. That was also the year Sebastian joined. He had just moved from Germany, and at the time, he was a girl. We all respected that without question. Later on, when Sebastian came out as a guy, we respected that too. But even in 4th grade, drama started brewing. Most of it centered around Sebastian and Alex, who kept getting into arguments, usually during breaks when we played for square. Eventually, Sebastian drifted away from the group for a while. I remember feeling bad for him, but I didn't really do anything about it. Eventually, he came back, and for a short while things felt normal again. Then came 5th grade. That was when we moved to the main building at school, where all the 5th through 9th graders were. That's also when everything really started to go downhill. Our friend group became a target for bullies, especially Alex, since he was openly gay. The people who went after us were the so-called football guys, who were, and honestly still are, extremely homophobic. They called us slurs and made fun of us constantly. Around that same time, I realized I was transgender. Although I wasn't ready to try transitioning yet, I was also super obsessed with Team Fortress 2, and trust me, that detail will come up again later. We even had a Discord group chat for the friend group in 5th grade, except Alex wasn't in it because his parents didn't allow him to have Discord. On top of that, Sebastian and Alex shared lockers at school, which sometimes stirred up even more tension. Unfortunately, the group started becoming really inappropriate for kids our age. Like, we were 12, and the jokes and conversations were way over the line. The only ones who didn't participate in that were Taylor and me. By 6th grade, the cracks in the group were impossible to ignore. There was constant drama, most of it happening on Snapchat, which I didn't even have at the time. I discovered that Addison and a few others from the group had made a private group chat without me, Taylor, or Sebastian in it. And in that chat, they were talking absolute trash about us. I only found out about it because Sebastian told me. Apparently, they had been making fun of me for being so into TF2 and SCP, and they even mocked the engineer cosplay I had worked so hard on. That really hurt, because those things made me happy and gave me an outlet, but to them, it was just something to laugh at. Addison was honestly the one who made the most fun of me. They mostly targeted my hair, since it was always a little tangled. Want to know the reason it looked like that? It looked like that because my hair was super long, like literally down to my legs. It wasn't messy because I didn't care. It was just a lot to take care of. Still, Addison constantly picked on me for it. Around this time, Sebastian came out to me and Taylor as Therian. We promised to keep it a secret, and we did. Not long after, Sebastian was also officially diagnosed with autism. That was when I started realizing I might be autistic too. I even tried opening up about that with the group. But instead of listening, they made fun of me. I'll never forget the time Alex told me I looked disabled just because I zoned out during lunch. That stung more than I can explain. Alex also had major anger issues, and he would get really controlling over the dumbest things, especially during lunch. One time, he actually yelled at me because I didn't wait for him before going to get a second portion. Like, sorry, but it was my favorite food that day. Why did it even matter? By the end of 6th grade, I'd finally had enough. I left the group completely and chilled with Olivia, who is now my best friend. We've been inseparable ever since. Of course, that meant people started calling us loners and weird for sticking together, but honestly, I'd rather be weird with Olivia than miserable with the others. At one point, Sid even threw a pen at me during art class. But our teacher, who's honestly one of the coolest teachers ever, didn't let that slide. She's always had my back. I think I might even be one of her favorites, because she once let me and Olivia decide the seating chart. Nowadays, my old friends are pretty much my biggest enemies. Olivia and I both hate them, especially me, because they made fun of Olivia. Sid is now part of the football guys, the same group that used to bully us. There's also this ginger kid, who I'll call Romeo, and this hyper blonde kid, who I'll call Jay. Both of them joined in making fun of us. They're basically the ringleaders of the football group's nonsense. The saddest part, though, is that Sebastian ended up leaving our school at the end of 6th grade. The bullying from the football guys just got too much for him. I still feel awful about that because he didn't deserve it at all. Now I'm just hoping 8th grade isn't total torture. Thanks for listening to me rant about my ridiculous class. Sometimes I just need to let it all out.
Hey guys, you can just call me Sour. And oh, do I have a story for you today? So grab some popcorn or something. I dunno. Alright, so we're gonna call this guy Sammy. And let me tell you, this dude was always in someone's business. Like, if there was drama, you could bet money that Sammy was either in it or starting it. Anyway, it was a lovely Tuesday afternoon, so me and my friends K and M were on the field, passing the ball around, talking about how we couldn't wait for summer break. Like seriously, that was the only thing on my mind at the time. Playing Roblox all summer, everything was normal, until I look over toward the basketball court and see Bob and Kat arguing. Now, they always had this love-hate friendship going on, but this time it was serious. Next thing I know, Kat throws a punch, not a gentle one, a hard one, and Bob did not let that slide. My guy really said, equal rights, equal fights, and suddenly they were going at it right there on the court. Everyone was screaming, some kids were recording, and me and my friends were just standing there flabbergasted. Then my friend Kay ran to go get a teacher. She came back with Mr. R, our PE teacher, who always wears sunglasses like he's guarding the president. He broke it up and gave them the whole "violence isn't the answer" lecture while everyone just stood around pretending not to eavesdrop. Now here's where Sammy comes in. Turns out, Bob was one of Sammy's friends. And apparently, Sammy didn't like that Kay told the teacher. So after that, he began bullying her, calling her a snitch and saying she ruined everything. His little sidekick Chase was backing him up like a true minion, laughing and egging him on. Kay tried to ignore them, but you could tell it got to her. She ended up crying later that day. We told her to tell a teacher, but she didn't want to. She just wanted the day to be over. To make things worse, that was the last day of school. Like, imagine ending the year on that. Typical middle schools. But don't worry, karma always does its thing. The next year, Sammy and Chase ended up getting suspended for starting rumors about someone else. So yeah, sucks for them, haha.
Hey, My awesome blue stars, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure to comment with blue hearts if you've reached this far, and also mention whose story was your favorite. Peace out, my awesome blue stars. Bye.